former middleweight champion Israel Adesanya will be headlining this upcoming UFC Fight Night card, and his opponent is Nassourdine Imavov, who has quietly quite the resume, Mike. This matchup's pretty compelling in a very interesting middleweight division up at the top with so many options.
Yeah, I mean, this is a gigantic month for middleweight, right? Like on this card, headlined by Adesanya versus Imavov, co-main event, Shara Bullet against MVP coming up to middleweight the week after, the title fight with Duplessis and Strickland at UFC 312. The week after that, we get Jared Cannonier and Gregory Rodriguez headlining. Week after that, Brendan Allen versus Anthony Hernandez, and then they just announced the other day Marvin Vettori headlining against Roman Dolidze in March. So I think the rankings, I guess to you, George, as you kind of run the rankings at Junkie, probably a lot of potential for movement in these next few weeks. But yeah, I think outside of the title fight, Adesanya versus Imavov feels like the biggest matchup of them all, and very compelling, right? You said off the top of the show, Adesanya's first non-title fight in almost 6 years.
Yeah.
Very different situation for him. So curious to see how that comes off, where his motivation lies. I interviewed him last week. He said the middleweight division is boring without me, and he's here to make it interesting again. So it seems like his focus and his motivation and everything is where it should be in a spot like this. But I mean, the record says it, right? Israel Adesanya has never lost 3 straight combat sports fights, even dating back to his kickboxing career. And he comes into this on back-to-back losses. Granted, they're to the champion and the former champion, the 2 people who are fighting for the belt the week after. But 3 straight losses, no matter what your status or position or history is a tough hole to come out of given his age. So this will be the defining point. Is Adesanya still a elite top tier middleweight who, if he wins this impressively and Sean Strickland wins, maybe he gets another title shot, but if he loses, we're having a completely different conversation about the future of this weight class and what it looks like without him as a real title contender for the first time in like half a decade.
Danny, let's remember that Izzy, is maybe not the top pay-per-view star, but in the middleweight division, he's probably one of them. Khamzat seems to be unreliable because of his health and maybe other times getting in and out of certain countries, which I can't confirm. It's just what I hear. But then you got like a Kyle Barrio who's streaking, a Fluffy Hernandez. He's dishing out beatings as well. Is this a big enough fight that if Izzy performs well, maybe he sneaks back in there? Or what do you think's the true stakes here on Saturday?
Well, sporting wise, there's no doubt that Khamzat Chimaev is the next guy in line. But as you mentioned, there's a lot of sort of red tape around him, right? We'll see like what his health status is because he's not very reliable. We'll see exactly where he can fight and cannot fight because it seems he's just fighting in a certain specific part of the world. So if Adesanya gets a big win here and for whatever reason they're not able to work things out with Khamzat Chimaev, I don't think it's too crazy to see him in a rematch against DDP or Sean Strickland. He does have a lot of name value. We know that he's up there in age, so he's, his career's getting close to the end here, and the UFC would probably want to use as much of his star power as possible. I mean, there's a reason why he's headlining an event this coming weekend. So I don't think it's crazy, but I think most likely we'll see Khamzat fight for the belt next. It's just been too long. I feel like they're going to have to work something out. But yeah, not likely, but not impossible either.
Nolan, we have a clear B-side in Nassourdine Imavov, but let's give him some love. In 2024, he went 3-0 and he beat Brendan Allen, Jared Cannonier, and Roman Dolidze, all respectable middleweights. Before that, there was a loss to Sean Strickland, but get this, beating Joaquin Buckley, who now has moved to welterweight, I get it, Edmund Shabazian, Ian Heinz. Like, there's been some names there that he's dropped along the way. What's his potential?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to find out with this fight, right? He certainly earned this position. It's nice that I like that to see Israel Adesanya kind of take a fight that's based off merit and not say, hey, this guy's not got a big name. He doesn't earn this yet. So it's good to, I think this is the fight that if you took the name and popularity out of it would make a lot of sense. So big slot for Imavov here. He does have, styles make fights. There is a little bit of intrigue to me on if he can make this kind of grindy with Izzy, if he can get a hold of him. Obviously, he's the underdog here for a reason. But at the same time, I mean, this is if he goes out there and wins, right? Like, you got to throw his name in that conversation. I think we all kind of have Khamzat as the guy that should be next. And this is kind of for the next, the next guy behind him. So that holds true whether it's Adesanya or Imavov in my mind.
Who do you think wins, Nolan?
I think Izzy wins.
Mike
I'll go with Adesanya.
and Danny. Unanimous?
I don't know yet. I've yet to submit my picks. I'm still on the fence about it. I'm gonna go Nassourdine.
Okay, I'm going with Adesanya.
Don't take my word for it. I'm in last place in the MMA Junkie standings, I think, for the first time in 10 years of doing these picks. So my confidence is in the gutter right now.
Okay, so definitely going with Imavov here.
But I'm
We
in
should be
first,
asking
so where does that put
Cold
you?
Coffee. Isn't
Yeah,
Cold Coffee like a
Bring
three-time
his ass
winner?
in for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Or maybe you can put a comment in there, text us, or just pop in if he wants. But yeah, respect to Cold Coffee, who's done us over, man, along the way. I think Mike's got a title. Have you won it, Nolan?
I have 2023.
Okay, so Nolan's a champ, Mike's a champ. Me and Danny are chumps. We got to get our act together, Danny. One of us has to win it this way. Latin power,
I know,
buddy.
I know.